Everything wrong with the car? Spider crack, scratches, bushing, signals, surging, tire balancing, AC, door lock. It's that time of year. It's fall here. It's mid-October, and I usually do a list of things I need to do this winter to the car. So that's basically what it is. So let's go through it all. It's a nice enough day. I could actually go for a drive right now, but I got a bunch of things I'm working on in the house, and you'll see that in the end bits. So for now, I'll show you what's up with the car. Let's start with the spider cracks. So the spider cracks. Biggest ones are on the engine cover here. You can kind of see that one there. Let me just zoom in and see if we can get it a little close. There we go. You can kind of see that one there, and there's another one up here. Now, the scale of them, they aren't too big. I'm zoomed in right now, but to give you a better idea, let me zoom back out. So here's my fingers. So they're about 2 inches long there. Another one over here at the end there. And up here on the cowling, here's another one here. I think there's a bolt on the other side, so that's probably why it's close to the surface, causing it to crack. The other spider crack is on the window frame here. You can see it right here. This one's always bugged me. It's always been here since I got with the car. It hasn't changed. It's always been there. But you can see just how it cracked there, and then there's another one here just above it. So there's a few scratches. Where's it? That's where I opened up and I hit the door. There's a scratch there too. I'm not sure what that was from. The wings got a couple of dingers. They're hard to see here, but there's one there, one there. There's another one here I noticed. A lot of these are just chips and stuff, and I could fill them and it probably wouldn't be as bad. There's more cracks I filled down in here. It's hard to see it on camera, but there's one in there, and there's one in there, and you can just see up here. I'll see if I can get it to focus on it. Kind of hard. There you go. Just see it there. And I believe there's one on the other side here too. There you go. So fiberglass, that's one of the things you got to deal with. Over here on this wheel well, you've probably seen it in other pictures, there's another scratch right here. It's a pretty good deep one. Somebody filled it in when I bought it. It was already filled in. And it's not really a good paint match, but anyways, that's something that needs to be fixed. All the wheels have some chips from one place or another, you can see that one there. And it's just from taking the lugs on and off and just time doing its thing. Scratches, and down here it looks like this is, I think from this opening up and hitting it at one time or another. It seems to clear okay now, but you can see there's another crack in here, right there where my finger is. Hard to see. The other thing is, it's hard if I can see it. So this light's good, right just how it is. See that there's a scratch all in there. When I got the car, it had those in there. They're from the previous owner. And I think what it was is he was using the car for promotional stuff, and he was having people sit on there, and of course they have something they're sitting on, they scratch. So anyways, usually what happens in the spring, I usually buff these, and basically it's harder to see them, but it's not perfect. It's the same on the other side. I'll show you. Alright, here's the other side, and I'm in the light so you can't see. So here you go, here's the other side. Yeah, you can see them as well right there in that light. Gives you an idea of the size of them. One of the others just we saw when we were out and saw Spiro's car, we were talking about these signals. So these are just like the OEM signals, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to show it or not. Well, you can see it. So you see how the angle of that signal Apparently these are upside down. They should be the other way. So that's on the list. Even on the front here, you'll see another chip. That one was there when I bought the car too. And there's some of these are bugs and stuff under here, but it's really hard to see it. But you can see there's chips actually on this edge, this leading edge along here. When I bought the car, there was a bunch on there. I know the previous owner had trouble getting in his driveway, and probably that's where it came from. And I filled up a lot of them as best I could, but here where I filled it in, you can kind of see where it made some good gouges under there. But all in all, it cleaned up pretty good, and from a distance you can't really tell. But there are some cracks under here too, if I remember right. I'll have to put it up in the air though to find it. So one of the other things is the on the door here, you can see there's some marks on the inside of it here. I remember the previous owner got the door jammed somehow and he couldn't get it open, and they had a hell of a time getting at it. You can see some more spider cracks here and up on the top here, but some things to tidy up. You can see on the inside of the door there too, the way the just grabbing it to open and close the door, right, for the last what 15 years. Makes some marks on it. Bit of wear and tear. Now on the seat, or not seats but sill, you can see, you know, just from people getting out, those two were there when I bought the car. There's some here, I don't know if you're going to be able to see them or not. On the stitching, you can just kind of see it here. The stitching is starting to kind of show, like it's starting to fray in some areas and starting to come out in other areas. Let's see if we can focus on this. Focus. Focus. There you go. So you can see on the stitching on the inside there, you can see how it's, the stitching's all starting to come out. And that's just from rubbing on it, in and out, getting in and out of the car. It's leather's holding up good though. So I don't know, I think I've mentioned this before. In the AC in this, it works really good. And in the summer, when we're driving, there's a couple of vents just underneath the AC unit. The drain's not in the proper place, and I think I mentioned before that the unit's at an angle like this. Instead of the drain being, you know, down at this end, it's at the opposite end, so it doesn't get all the water. The drawback of that is when you're driving, there's a vent right under your foot. So if I make a right-hand turn really hard, and the AC's been on all day, and the AC exchanger in there is full of water, it'll dump right on your foot like I don't know, maybe a quarter cup of cold water, and it is an alarming feeling when you're driving. And it does the same thing on the passenger side. So when it happens to the passenger, it's kind of funny, and I haven't really hasn't been at the top of the list to fix it, but it's one of those things I'll have to do. One of the other things with this door on this side, on a really, really hot day, the mechanism, so basically when you've probably heard me hit that switch and there's an electric, it's actually a window winder that's in here, and on a really hot day, what he used is a micro switch and a disc to locate when to pull the door lock mechanism. This is before door poppers and everything came out. So what happens it's on a plastic disc. On a really hot day, the plastic disc tends to warp, and the micro switch doesn't run on top of the disc anymore. So now on a hot day, it just bends enough and misses the micro switch. So what all that happens is you can, the door just keeps cycling through and opening and closing, opening and closing. So it's not a big deal. And then eventually it'll catch and it stops. But that's only happened like 3 or 4 times, but I keep meaning to go back into the door and just come up with a better way of doing it, or actually exchanging it for door poppers. This dinger I did. That one right there. Did it putting this away. Just throwing it in there and tink. I felt shame. You can see on this wheel, it's got a chip there, another chip right there. Need to clean up down here. Anyways, here's a better look at that crack I was telling you about right there. Look at all this is all bugs from the last time I was out. I gotta clean them all off. Yeah, that's usually part of the ritual in the winter too, is cleaning everything up. There's another spider crack right there. So I don't know if you guys can see it or not. I suspect the bushings are gone. This one's looking a little iffy. Anyways, I gotta check it. But I think these bottom bushings, I know I've done the top bushings, but the bottoms could need doing. And I think I've done the ball joints, they look new here, and I think I did the top and the bottom. So they're probably good, but I feel like there's actually it's just when I take it first out on the road, there's a little bit of extra movement in the steering. It's either that or maybe the steering's mounted. Or anyways, it goes away shortly after I leave, so it even could be the tires just from sitting, I don't know. But anyways, I gotta check that, and if it is the bushings, that means I gotta get in alignment. The other thing I have noticed is that this steering knuckle here, you can see the angle it's on. So under heavy load, when the car's at a standstill, I can feel it jump a little bit. So it's not a huge deal, but it only does it if it's under heavy load and the car's at it, like you got a reef on the wheel, because you're not moving the car. As soon as it starts rolling, it doesn't do it at all. But it's one of those things I got to look into. The engine has got that hunting thing. I've mentioned it every year. I think it's the Opti sensor. The dog's right below me on his leash making all kinds of noise. So anyways, the Opti sensor is, I think, what's doing it. Because what happens on a real hot day, it won't do it now, but on a really hot day, come to a light, have the AC on, engine under load, just basically idling, AC on and all that stuff. It'll hunt for idle a bit. It'll just do that run. I think it's the Opti sensor, I'm not sure, but until I can diagnose this fully, I'm just gonna leave it, because it only happens on hot days when all that's on. As soon as you turn that to come to the light, if you turn the AC off, it stops hunting. And it only does it on the wicked hot days, and there wasn't a lot this year, so it didn't happen a lot, but I'll leave it on the list. Next thing is to fire it up, let it run for a while, and fill these up with a little more air. I'm thinking of taking the wheels off this winter and storing them so I can clean them inside. But for now, just pumping up 40 pounds of pressure while it's sitting on the lift, and I usually roll it back and forth every week in different spots, so that's not always sitting on the same spot. But anyways, that's for now. So Copper and I are going to do that. I think that's all for this week. So till next time, see ya. Got me renovated in the bathroom. She makes a good point though. Spend 15 grand to have somebody do it, or I do it for 5, and that means 10 grand for the car budget. I like that idea. Anyways, I'll throw up the before pictures, but here's what we got to so far. But So the videos might be a little while coming out while this gets done. Lots of fun. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to see it, but well, you can almost see it. So you can see the stitching is basically starting to come out. Somebody joined us. Stitching's just goober. So you can see how the stitching's So anyways, that's going to need attention eventually. Why did I just kick you in the face? Huh. Sorry, puppy. He's been at it again. This time, rims. Experimenting with my new Note 8 to see how it does selfie style. Looks like it's better than it was. So, anyways. And we've got another work van. Just decommissioned from the office, and I'm just giving it the once over to see what's wrong with it and see what it's worth. Lots of fun. That has to be the noisiest thing I've ever heard. Holy crap. The heck? He's been at it again. Those are new. Did that. Yeah, problem number one. I can see ground through there. Bottom of the door is a little rough too. And we got the inners of the door, this insulation hanging out. Off to a good start. Let me flip you around so we can see. Alright. How do I do it? I don't know. I have to figure out. I need to figure out. Everything wrong? Spider cracks, scratches, bushings, signals, surge.